Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri.
The passion.
08704 20 20 20.
Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri.
And line 6, you're live on Talksport Human Zoo. Good evening. Hello.
Thierry Omri.
Whoa, let's conference them. Line 2, keep going. Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri,
Henry.
Thierry Omri.
Thierry Omri.
Oh, Thierry Omri. How's this happened? A guy on line 2, not 2 minutes ago, wants to sing that to Thierry Henry.
Yeah.
And then line 6 comes up. Are they
Lined it up.
connected?
No, he's just heard it, hasn't he? He's lined it up.
But he's only had 90 seconds to line it up.
The guy's fast. He's got a future.
It's spooky.
Gets boring though. Right. Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri, Thierry Omri.
Yeah, keep going. That's cool. Amazing. I've cut him off. He's gone. That's fair enough. The Thierry Henry fella's gone. I can see his lights stopped winking. But that was spooky. Was that spooky or was that planned by somebody else? Are we?
No, I think they just heard it and they were very fat. They had the record lying down by...
How can you get to that in 90 seconds? And in any case, they
No, it
probably
was about 3-4 minutes.
But was it?
Hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
How you doing, man?
Never been better. What about you?
I'll tell you what, Tommy, yeah?
Yeah?
What I've been thinking about, yeah, is, well, I don't know, man. There's something about, like, listening to you and that. All I can think about is, you know about, like, psychology and, you seem to know a lot about just how people, think or feel.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
About, sometimes I think about, just about, natural breathing. You know?
Natural breathing.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like, how you breathe, it's just like an automatic response.
Yeah.
I mean, what's that about?
There was a man once who actually lulled himself into the belief that he had to concentrate on breathing, otherwise he wouldn't.
Yeah?
Oh, I don't advise you to go down that road.
You heard this, Dicky. Get right on, mate. What do you mean, right on, mate? You don't know what they're for.
And the audio quality is not fantastic, but thanks for the effort anyway. It's a shame Ash is at the email machine at the moment. You met Trigger the other week.
No, I met Boise.
Boise, sorry.
And I met the barman. Is it Dave?
Oh,
No,
Dave.
it's not Dave. Is it Dave the barman?
Yeah,
No,
I
it's
think,
not.
Oh, whatever.
I don't know.
Yeah.
No, I met Boise.
Did anything...
yeah. No, I just had a chat.
You haven't got an anecdote there?
There was no real anecdote, no.
Damn thing, that, isn't it? You meet famous people and there's no anecdote.
Didn't have any lines.
I sat next to Kirk Douglas on a plane once for 7 hours, and at the end of it, no anecdote, nothing. Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
He didn't say anything, I didn't say anything, nothing happened.
Yeah.
Waste of time. So, line 3, you're live on Talksport's Human Zoo.
Get your nostrils out the phone.
You're moderating.
Flange.
It's quite spooky, wasn't it? See, if aliens landed, why would they necessarily be more or less the same height as us?
Well, they're not, are they?
That's
They're
what
about...
annoys me.
No,
They're
they're not.
always... No,
they're not. They're 4 foot.
Yeah, but 4 foot's more or less the same size as us.
No, it's smaller.
If you look at the state of the universe, right, it's perfectly possible that aliens could land here. They'd be so small, you couldn't even see them on a bloody microscope.
No, they're about 4 foot and green.
Or their spaceships could be the size of Africa. But they're not. They're always about the size of a double-decker bus. And the aliens are more or less the same size as us.
No, there's some that are like as big as a jumbo jet.
Well, a jumbo jet is still more or less the same size as us, isn't it? We've got jumbo
There's
jets.
little pods as well that they fly around in.
But you see what I'm
Two-man
saying?
pods.
When you consider the size of the universe and how big Jupiter is compared to Earth, for example.
Well, yeah.
It's a scale thing
You're not
that
wrong
annoys
there.
me. It annoys me, the scale thing. They're always more or less our size. 08704 2020.
Well, they would be, wouldn't they?
It's the Human Zoo on Talksport.
On Talksport, he's planted rice in the paddy fields of Thailand. He's seen the sunrise from the summit of Mount Kilimanjaro. He's meditated within the ancient walls of Machu Picchu. He's got a Renault Turbo Sport and a TVR. He's got a huge bank balance. He could go out with any woman in the country. Arnold Schwarzenegger is a close personal friend of his family. He's been invited to the Prime Minister's house for drinks. He's the closest thing on earth to the angel Gabriel.
He is the light.
Hosanna.
He's Tommy Boyds.
Tommy Boyds.
No more dirt in the theater. Attention, Talksport security staff. The alarm has been activated in the celebrity toilet.
Tommy Boyds.
08704 2020. It's the Human Zoo on Talksport. Charlie Wolf from 1. I'm Tommy Boyd. Ash is here.
Oh, man.
No, no. On the Human Zoo. Hello.
I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Lovely. I've a couple of rest in here.
Bernard Manning.
I wish you could hear this. It's going to be funny. Oh, like a trainee corpse. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Excellent. Let's hope it stays that way.
He's funny, Bernard Manning.
Do you know what that was?
No.
That was him and I Don't Believe It.
What was it?
On Mrs. Merton when they fell out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I heard about it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of telly, you don't actually see it.
Yeah, I missed that as well. I'd like to see it.
I saw her interview with George Best, which was funny.
Oh, yeah, the Wogan.
No, Mrs. Merton and George Best.
Oh, yeah, there was a bit, yeah.
Said to him, Sir George, do you think if you hadn't played all that football, you wouldn't have been so thirsty? Good question. Look, I wrote for Bernard Manning years back.
Did you?
We had a block
did
of
you write?
writers. I did some stuff for him.
What, on
Rubbish.
the comedians?
No, it was on a TV show called Under Manning. It was awful. Thank you for that. I'll tell you who else I'll drink to. The German long jumper, Heike Dressler.
I've run out of drinks.
Well, you'll have to think.
I'll
then.
think.
Think, drink. Heike Dressler. What an all-woman. I was watching the athletics today. It's very easy on the eye,
Yeah.
those athletes.
Yeah. She could jump into bed like that.
Oh, baby, don't do that. I'm sitting down. I'll have to stand up now. And to line 3. Hey, line 3, you're on.
Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the levee, but the levee was dry. Them good old boys were drinking whiskey and rye, singing, this will be the day that I die.
They said to him, Ralph, what does American Pie mean?
Nah.
Do you know what he said?
No.
It's a good reply. He said, it means I'll never have to work again.
Yeah. Why does it mean that? Pie. American pie.
Why does it
Rhyming
mean...
slang.
I don't know. And I don't think you're supposed
American
to know. It's a
pie.
bit like... Line 1, you're on Talk Sports Human Zoo.
Pin the tail on the donkey. We haven't got a donkey. Well, pin the tail on the chicken. We haven't got a tail. Well, pin the sausage on the chicken. We haven't got a chicken. So, pin the sausage on the fridge. Or a pin. Sellotape a sausage to the fridge. We haven't got a sausage. Put a bit of sellotape on the fridge.
Much underrated show, Bottom.
Yeah.
I think it's up
That
there
was
with
a shame.
up there with most of them. It really is. Not quite up there with Hancock, not quite, but definitely, sort of mid-table stuff. Bottom, brilliant. You're live on Talk Sports Human Zoo.
Tommy,
Tommy, when I'm dead, do
Yes.
you think it'll be like before I was born?
Yes.
So do I. It's interesting now, isn't it? Because
Yes.
before you're born, you don't know you exist and everything, but when you are and you're alive, you think you've got some kind of right to be here forever.
Yes, that's a very profound point, if you don't mind me saying so.
No, I think I've got a right to be here forever. I've heard you say this before, and
Yes.
it's something that I've said independently before I heard you, and it's that I wish I didn't know that I was going to die.
Yes.
I wish I was ignorant of that fact.
It's the only thing, only respect in which I envy cattle and
Yeah.
insects and
Yeah,
things.
it's like my dog. My dog's wonderful, but she doesn't know that she's going to die or
No.
anything. No,
We
well,
do.
as I've already said, I
That
wish
is
I
the
didn't.
biggest curse of being a human being, for sure.
Mm.
And when you have children, if you ever have children, you know, it is a real sort of gaping sort of you take blame
Mm.
for being part of another person having to make this discovery about the about the temporariness of their existence and the possibility that there's nothing to being here.
That's it. Anyway, great show, Tom. Love it to bits, and hope to hear you again next week.
Dear boy, thank you very much indeed.
Cheers,
for the
love
call.
to you and your family, Tom.
You're a nice man. See, I mean, that is seriously a profound point, isn't it, Ash? You know, like in Henry VIII's time.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Well, we weren't here, were we?
Well, no.
So we don't care about that, do we?
No.
So, when we're dead, 400 years from now, we won't care about that either. Will we?
About what?
About what's happening in 400 years' time.
We won't care about what now?
We care about now. That's the trouble. We care about now too much because
Yeah.
we think now is everything.
Yeah.
And not only that, we think that us and now is everything.
Yeah, but what you're saying, it doesn't matter the future.
No, I'm saying that we'll probably be as aware of what's going on in the future when we're dead as we were aware of what was going on in, like, Henry VIII's time or in Stone Age time.
Well, no, because we got a bit of, history stuff.
Yeah, we were aware of bits of it, but it didn't feel good or bad to us.
No.
You don't-
the future...
You don't get anywhere with conversations like this, do you? But I mean, I'm grateful that the man introduced the topic because it's kind of very human.
What are you
too.
trying to say?
What I'm trying to say is, I'll leave it to the guy. I think he said it better than I can. What
You
am I
get
trying
the
to say?
future,
Well, what am I trying to say?
and then...
See, a woman once said to me when I said I'm a bit of a vegetarian myself, she said to me, oh, I couldn't be a vegetarian because if it wasn't for the meat industry, then those cows would never have existed. And they wouldn't like that, would they?
That's true.
Well, yeah, it's actually a dumb but nevertheless difficult to actually sort of oppose argument. 08704 20 20 20. It's the Human Zoo on Talksport. Let's go on straight to line 3. Good evening, line 3. You're live on the Human Zoo.
Hello, big boy.
Hello.
Oh, sorry, wrong number.
Oh, that was for me.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, I didn't ask around the room.
Yeah.
Should have asked around the room.
Not left a number either.
Sorry. That could have been the call you were waiting for.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh,
it was
bugger.
Bubba.
Was it about your car?
Yeah.
Damn.
New Capri.
Oh. Line 4, you're on.
Tommy,
Hey?
why do you think they'd ask Ralph what American Pie meant, and they shouldn't they have asked Don?
Yeah, Don, you're right. Good one, fella. Thanks for paying attention. Was it Don McLean? No, it was
Tom
Ralph.
McLean.
It was Ralph McTell. No, that was Streets of London.
Ralph McTell.
And Don McLean, he was the bloke in Crackerjack.
Yeah, that's right. Don McLean. That's right. After he did American Pie.
Isn't popular culture confusing? You know, I saw an American recipe for beetroot English style, and this is what they said. Take the beetroots, peel them, and boil them in water for 2 hours. Then rest them in vinegar overnight in the fridge.
Lovely.
Slice them very, very thin, and throw them away. That was what the recipe said, for beetroot English style.
Throw them away?
Yes. The gist of the recipe was that English-style beetroot sucks.
They always say that, but American food's rubbish. It's full of all chemicals.
They haven't got any food.
It's rubbish, their food.
Rubbish food. There's no American food. You couldn't go to a restaurant and say, I'll have a plate of typical American food.
They got good portions. And I like the food,
Yes,
but it's
yes.
not good food.
But when you go there and they say, hey, salad bar, eat all you want, and then your steak will come along later, of course, what you do
They're
is...
lying.
Well, you eat all
Never
that salad,
comes, does it?
and you
Never.
can hardly touch your steak because you've eaten all those tomatoes.
They haven't
and
even bothered making it.
No, no.
They ply you with coffee,
Yes.
which in turn stimulates the autonomic nervous system.
Closes down the natural hunger
Digestion,
mechanisms in
yeah.
the digestive system. Yes,
All a
you're right.
cunning
you're right.
trick.
And root beer. First time I dined in the States, I ordered a bottle of wine, and the guy came with the wine, and he had a silver goblet hanging around his neck.
Yeah.
Have I told you this?
No, but...
He had a silver goblet hanging around his neck. So he showed me the label of the bottle of wine, and the young lady I was dining with, we sort of went, yes, lovely. And he opened it, like that. Then, do you know what he did?
No.
He got his silver goblet that was hanging around his neck, poured himself a glass of my wine, and he went... Delicious. Enjoy your meal. He tasted it for me.
Okay.
What a gig! What a gig! He's being paid to drink my wine.
Only in America.
What you guys know about wine?
love that
It's what you guys know about wine. Charlie Wolf, with you from one. Let's go. You're on the Human Zoo.
I want to use the human zoo for what it's really for. I've got to get up tomorrow and deal with life after a long, lovely weekend. So I just want to say...
You've got it, mate. You've got it. That's all it is. That's all it is. A program...
It's all about.
A program, a radio program or any program, only needs just sort of like one basis in fact, and that's the Human Zoo. In a nutshell there, that call. I'm going to splice that out and hang it in my bathroom. What? Line 5.
Yes, you could do. If we still had quarter-inch tape.
Yes, you could use a whole curtain of it, couldn't you, to keep the shower spray from going over
And
the
take
toilet.
it down and play it to remember that call.
Fantastic. You're on. Hello.
Am I driving okay?
No. You're raving about all over the place. You're a mad fool. Pull over and get a taxi.
It's this bloody hay fever, mate.
Is it? There's no excuse in the court of law, because hay fever is ignorance.
How's that?
Well,
That's why you get it.
yeah. Yeah. Ignorant people get hay fever. It's in the papers. What?
You're ignorant,
Yeah.
and you've got hay fever because of it.
Charlie gets hay fever. Charlie Wolf gets hay fever, so...
By the bucket load.
Yeah, therefore. Ergo. I think, therefore I am. I don't think, and therefore...
I've got hay fever.
Fantastic. Line 1, you're on Talksport's Human Zoo. Good evening.
You were only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
You're a big man, but you're out of shape. Love poem there. Thank you, Six. And to line 1. Good evening, line 1. You're on the Human Zoo.
You love Mike Dickin, you Dickin lover, Boyd.
We all love Mike Dickin. Everyone's got a soft spot for
Can't
Mike
fail
Dickin.
but to love the guy.
Swamp at the bottom of the garden. I don't normally drink to men. We normally drink to women on this show, don't we?
Yes,
Because
I
we
mean,
like them.
It's unprecedented to have drank to a man.
And in any case, the other thing is we don't do jokes. Because jokes belong sort of Adrian Just.
in the
sort
pub.
of broadcasting, yeah. Yeah, but I don't even like jokes. Somebody comes up to me in a pub and says, hey, I've got a joke.
Yeah, I don't like jokes.
Oh, no, God, no, please. You know, because you've got to sit there and go, oh. And then it's heading towards the punchline, you think, I'm not going to laugh.
Yeah.
What do you do if a bloke tells you a one-on-one joke in the pub and you know you're not going to laugh?
Well, I'm not very good at doing the false thing.
No, we've noticed.
Well, one thing you can do is fall over or cause a diversion.
Yeah.
Or sort of go...
Jim Davidson always, because I've had the odd drink with him, it's not a name drop thing, we do go back a long way, and he always, because he says, people always come up to me and they always go, yeah, man, got one for you, Jim.
Yeah.
And so they'll start it, and he'll always know it.
Yeah.
And he'll tell it back to them as soon as they started, and they go, and off they go, and that's how he deals with it. But I've got a really good Shane Ritchie story, I'll tell you in a minute.
Tonight, from 9:30, only on Talksport. We are not alone,
This is in there. This is one of the shows in the top 100 all-time children's TV shows. Obviously. Fantastic, I think.
Well, the theme tune.
Channel 4 are doing it. Vote, vote, vote. Channel4.com, whatever it is. Vote for me. Twice over. No, I'm only joking. Don't do that. I don't want to rig an election.
Might as well do.
So, what happened was this. You know Shane Ritchie?
Yeah.
Very funny man, young man. Nice man. You met him the other day.
I did, man, and he told me a story. I'll tell you a story in a minute.
All right, I'll swap your story. My Shane Ritchie story is about the time when he did a Falklands entertainments gig. Because, you know, all the squaddies were down in the Falklands, going back about 10, 12 years. And what they did was they flew over from Britain about 8 acts to entertain the squaddies, and Shane was one of them. And, of course, he's done gigs like that before for the military, you know, and it's easy enough. But he got there, only to find out that he was there for a whole weekend, right? And there was a show to do, but the rest of the time he was just expected to wander around and be matesy and chummy with all the squaddies. And, of course, they all wanted to talk to him, and they all wanted to tell him jokes. So he was getting a bit sort of fed up with that, and he was using the Jim Davidson way of getting out of it by, as soon as they'd start to tell a joke, he'd tell it back to them because he knew what the punchline was. He knew the joke, because comedians do. So then this thing gradually built up because the squaddies started to get fed up with this. So he made a bet of it. They come up to him and they say, Shane, got a gag for you, you don't know it. So he'd say, all right, I'll bet you £1. Right? So he ended up taking money off them.
Yeah.
Which, again, they didn't like because they couldn't get him. And he had 250 quid's worth of squaddies' money.
Nice.
So he's getting paid a lot to go down to the Falklands to do this by the Ministry of Defence. But on top of that, he's walking around with £250 coins of squaddies in his pocket. And they're still coming up to him and they're going, right, got this one for you, right? Irishman goes into a pub and he's, boom, back with them, whatever. Anyway, it gets quite poignant, really, because the Falklands padre, the military padre, approached him quietly with no one else around and said, look, I don't have a great deal of currency around here because, you know, they don't listen to me when I talk to them about God and Jesus and things. Is there any chance that you would raise my status amongst the squaddies enormously by letting me tell you a joke that you've never heard? So he said, all right. So they're in the pub, and there's 800 squaddies in there, all having a few beers, and Shane's doing this thing, and his purse has gone up to about 400 quid now, and they're coming up to him and they're going, Thomas the Tank Engine walks into a pub, and Shane's going, and the punchline was, and they go, oh, here's a quid. So he's got 400 quid in his pocket. And the padre comes in and gets it completely wrong, and he raises the stakes completely. And he says, I'll bet you whatever you've taken off these squaddies, I can tell you a joke that you can't. And Shane thinks, Christ, you know, 400 quid. If he can't do it, if I can do it, the padre's got to give me 400 quid. And all the squaddies gathered around and everything. So it's an excellent story. I said to Shane, it should be a play. And so the padre goes, right, you know, it's always like a poker game. And they're all sweating, and all that goes quiet. And the padre starts to tell a joke. Now, for the life of me, I can't remember what the joke was, but it's one of those really poor ones. Sort of like one notch up from, why did the chicken cross the road? I can't remember the gag, but it's more or less as bad as that. And Shane had to, because he'd done a deal with God, or the man of God, and he had to go, no, I don't know. Yeah.
And he gave him the money?
I think, I don't know. It's a lovely story. I can't remember the nuts and bolts of the finish of it. Yeah. And I think he ended up, I think he gave the 400 quid to one of the benevolent funds or whatever charities that were there or something like that. Yeah. But it was a neat little story. I said to him, that's a play. You ought to write that up. That'd make a good little sort of television half hour or something like that happening. Especially if it really happened. Go on, what's your Shane Ritchie?
Well, I saw him recently and we had a good night, and he said Do you know that Tommy Boyd that you work with sometimes? I said, yes, I do. He goes, well, I rode across America on a Harley Davidson because of Tommy Boyd. And I thought, why? And he goes, well, he's heard your show before, and you said to people when they like phone up and they're like, you know, depressed or whatever.
Get on a
motorbike.
motorbike.
Just forget all your counsellors and stuff. Just get on a motorbike, get a boat, go to Africa on safari or something, do something wild, And
he did it.
And he did it, yeah, with his
I've
mate.
heard from him since.
He did his crash course in a week, apparently.
And got on a motorbike and went and did it.
Got on a motorbike.
Do you think crash course is really the correct term to use?
Well, I think it was in this case.
I see what you're saying, Charlie, and at least it shows you're paying attention.
Yes, thank you. It's always good to bring a little bit of intelligence into the show.
Fantastic. Well,
Didn't mean it quite like that, but...
No. It's a different form of intelligence, Charles. It comes in many guises, intelligence.
Many forms.
As we British know.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh,
So what do you got lined up for us this evening, then?
Damned if I know.
Damned if you know and damned if you don't, Charlie. Damned if you know and damned if you don't.
That's the bloody trouble with it.
I say, let the punters decide tonight.
That I say thing. Did you ever see Airplane? It's one of my favourite lines from Airplane, where they go around all the news bulletins as the plane's crashing, and they're doing it in different languages, a plane crashing, and they get to the guy who's doing his view.
Yeah.
Do you know the bit I mean?
I'm trying to think. No, I can't remember that bit.
Well, apparently in American news, what they often do is they have the news on TV, and then a guy does a little bit of 2 cents worth. He does his own little opinion thing.
Oh, yeah,
Some
like
opinionated guy.
get an expert in.
And so he always, he just does opinion. So he says about whatever the main issues of the day, and he does this thing. He just goes, they bought their ticket. They knew what they were getting into. I say, let them crash.
Oh, yeah. Sort of like Kent Brockman. Here's my 2 cents
Here's my
worth.
2 cents worth. Kent Brockman, yes.
My 2 cents worth.
Charlie, have a cracking show. I shall certainly
Thank
be
you.
listening. Have
It'll
a
be
great
interesting.
week,
Yeah,
and
we'll
I'll
talk-
look forward to seeing you at the same time next weekend.
Same time, same channel, same planet, yes.
Feel, Tommy, that you were far too lenient with me.
Yeah.
And all in all, far too nice to me. And I just went away a little bit disappointed.
Well, do you want me to abuse you?
Yes.
Right, okay. Well, where are you from? Romford?
Yeah.
Well, supposing I was to call you a cockney wanker, is that... Well, I'm just asking. I haven't. I'm just asking
No.
the kind of thing you want.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you,
Why?
It's a good start.
Why do you want that?
Well, why do
I don't want to do that sort of thing.
But it was a good start, Tommy. It was good. It was good. I mean, have you got any, maybe just 1 or 2 follow-ups before I give you my second complaint?
No,
Cockney wank is good.
All right, well, we'll stick with that then.
Okay.
What's your second complaint then, you cockney wanker? Well, I mean, I'm just trying to provide a service here.
I know, but, you're a bit one-paced, aren't you? I mean, we've had 2 Cockney wankers. I mean, what about Romford Tosser?
Because you said that you'd settle for it. I'm just trying to help here, mate.
Well, I'm only settling for it because I'm aware that you've got
want a variation on it?
Yeah, because I'm aware that you've got a plethora of abuse to give, Tommy.
Sure.
I understand that, but I'm also aware that you have a jam switchboard. So I said I'd settle for Cockney wanker purely on the basis that you probably don't have time to give me the rest. I mean, if that's all you've got time for, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'll take a bit more if you can give it to me.
Well, all right then. What about you, half-witted, weak-eyed, whinging Essex wuss?
Yeah, that's
that sort of thing. So you actually wanted a compilation rather than just a
bit of variation, Tommy.
All right. Well, I'll keep it going then through your second complaint, whatever that is. As a psychologist first.
Yeah.
You're what we call semi-neurotic, dyke-obsessed neo-puff.
Right.
Okay.
Is that good?
Well, I'm just moving on to that. As a complainant,
yeah.
You haven't got a fairy leg to stand on.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Just thought I'd...
Right.
Okay.
So I've got to put up with these nightmares.
Semi-neurotic, dyke-obsessed, neo-puff.
Yeah.
Who hasn't got a fairy leg to stand on.
Right.
All right.
Is there any treatment that I can have for this? I mean, do I have to avoid anything to do with Holland?
No. The only thing you can do is possibly stand quite close to the curb next time you see me driving by.
Right, okay, Tommy, that sounds good to me.
Adidas.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Adidas.
Yeah. What? Do you speak Dutch, Tommy?
Nike.
Well, I'm glad you find it funny, Tommy, but I haven't slept a wink since I last spoke to you.
Did you say wink?
I haven't had one of them either.
Rob in Romford. Cockney wanker. 08704 20 20 20.
3 a.m. Tommy Boyd on Talksport.
Tommy Boyd on Talksport. Come and have a go, if you think you're hard enough.
The final frontier of freedom of speech. Tommy Boyd. Outside of society. Tommy Boyd.
The answer is still no.
Trickier to get him to come where we want him.
People like you should be ousted from the work that you are doing.
No sellout.
Ousted from the work.
Welcome to Planet Tommy, the virtual soundscape where Tommy's right and everyone else talks crap.
Ousted from the work that you are doing.
Picture Wellingtons of children, and Mammy will tell you a pleasant story.
New radio for a new generation. Tommy Boyd. Word.
Tommy Boyd.
Tommy Boyd.
Couple of emails very quickly that have taken my eye. One from Winnipeg in Canada, John Turner, aged 25 to 30. Your show sounds good over here in Canada. As an expat, I really enjoy hearing your show via the web. I was wondering if you have any advice on whether I should have an affair with my next-door neighbour. She's been making it obvious that she's interested in me for some time, but she's married, and I'm worried that I'll be captured. Yeah, don't take it easy, John. I mean, but take it. Don't take any big risks with serious, deep sensibilities with other people. But I do believe that we should explore all the possibilities that we can in this one short life that we get, that we can be sure of. You don't know. You might live again. You might go to heaven. You might not. But all you can be sure of is that you're here, and so you might as well try as many things without, as long as I say you make sure you don't hurt anybody. If that's possible, so be careful. See, the thing is with neighbours, you can't. One of you might end up having to move away if it doesn't work through. If it's with somebody who's a neighbour of yours in terms of 4 blocks down, then that's kind of easier. It's a bit like that thing about don't on your own doorstep, literally. Bit of wisdom there, bit of advice for John in Winnipeg. And Marielle Grayeur has emailed from Italy. She's 31 to 35. And she says she's listening in Italy on the internet. It's good to hear the show. She says she urgently needs some advice. She's married to a wonderful man, but finds her attention straying sexually towards other women. She says, I am ashamed of these feelings, yet I would, in some sense, like to give flesh to them. I've heard you speak intelligently about sexuality and sexual urges. Help needed, please, with love. Marry. Well, a lot depends on what your man would think if he were to find out. Because, of course, if you do what you need to do to find out about yourself without, in secret, then as long as you can secure that and achieve that, then that's down to you. But if there's a possibility that it may come to his attention one way or another, you might find that it's what you really need to be, and then you've got a difficult decision to make, haven't you? In which case it might have to come to his attention through you, deciding to explain it to him, and if that's going to be hell on earth, then you're probably best just looking at pictures. 08704 20 20 20. Swindon neck of the woods at the moment. Hi, Dave.
Oh, mate, I just want to talk to you about Goran Ivanišević and Croatia. I'd just like to see why you're so thingy about him.
Why I'm so thingy about him?
Yeah, he's always praising him and Croatia and all this. But I was wondering, do you know the history about him and about Croatia?
Yes.
Like all the crimes they've committed and Goran's views and stuff like that.
Yes. Yes, I've got all that. Yes, I've woven that into my sensibilities. And I wanted Goran to win Wimbledon, and he did.
Yeah,
Who did you want to win?
Well, Tim Henman, obviously.
Why is that then? Stuff, obviously. Why is that then?
I think he's a better character.
That's your choice. You can't say obviously.
I think he's a better character. I mean,
obviously assumes that, I'm as big a sheep as you. And I'm not. I make up my own mind. I'm a free man, Dave.
Yeah, but he's talking about Croatia. I mean, look at the crimes they've committed.
Which ones are those then? Okay, two.
He's talking Second World War, then...
Oh, sod off, Dave.
Okay.
That's pathetic, that is. That's
okay,
just
what about Rick?
Well, no, none of this what about. None of this what about. Let's talk about now, today. Did you see the celebrations in Croatia when Goran Ivanisevic went home?
Yeah, but
I'm asking you a question. Did you see them?
I didn't want to see it, to be honest.
Did you see them?
No.
No, so you don't actually know what it means to them?
Yeah, but look, we've got to look at these people. I mean, only 2 years ago,
I hate these people. Don't you dare come on this show and talk about these people. As far as I'm concerned, Dave, you are one of these people.
No, I don't mean
one of these people who condemn other people to be a bunch of these people. What do you mean, these people? They're human beings the same as you, man. Damn it. God damn it.
What about the crimes they committed and the people that fought?
Who's they? The people who committed crimes are the people who committed crimes. The people who are out on the streets celebrating Goran Ivanisevic winning as people should celebrate, with passion and with gusto and with love and with joie de vivre. Those are the people that celebrated Goran Ivanisevic's victory at Wimbledon, not the war criminals, none of whom you could name. You couldn't name one unit. You couldn't name one particular atrocity.
Yeah,
you've just got a typical lazy man's view of a bunch of foreigners as being a bunch of war criminals, from reading some of the small print in some of the small papers. Tell me I'm wrong, Dave, I beg you.
You are wrong, mate, because I've seen it on the telly, to be honest.
Oh, right, you've seen it on the telly. I didn't realise you were that well bloody informed.
You know, most of these people took part.
Don't you say these people one more time. I'll have it off the radio because it's pretty poisonous what you're coming out with anyway. But if it's also going to be inaccurate and repetitive, then that's surely good reason to get you off the radio. Now, come on, Dave. Come at me with an argument that sings to me. Come at me with an argument which has the melody of humanity about it. I dare you.
I just think Goran Ivanisevic is a nationalist compared to Tim Henman, who seems like a quite nice bloke. You know, he doesn't boast, or he doesn't whereas Goran is always boasting and he's, shouting.
Name me one boast.
Well, I don't understand, because he normally says it in Croatian, doesn't he?
Quote me.
No, I can't quote you because I don't understand what he's saying.
No, see, you haven't heard him say anything. If you don't understand Croatian, how do you know he's boasting when he's speaking in it?
Because the way sometimes on his interviews and stuff, he's saying, "Oh, I'm a genius" and all this,
In Croatian or in English?
He said that in English, but half the time he speaks Croatian and he's like swearing and.
Dave, I tell you, man, I'm honest here. I'm going to be honest here. You're pathetic. You haven't got an argument. All you've got is you don't like some foreigners because they're foreign. That's what I'm getting.
No, nothing to do with that. Nothing to do with that.
Well, you don't sound like it.
Tim Henman, he seems like a quiet bloke. He's sensible, and this other guy just seems like a lunatic, to be honest.
A lunatic. Oh, give me the lunatics any day, Dave. Dave, these words are falling from your lips like dead leaves, my love. It's leaden, it's heavy. The corpse is rotting, Dave. Come on, Dave, live a little. Get some spirit in your soul. Get some fire, get some passion, get some fireworks. Live, be. Get it coursing through your veins. Get a spirit, get a Dalmatian spike about you, Dave.
No, I was seeing what they've done during the wars and stuff, and it just puts me off these people, to be honest.
Ah, there we go, these people again. Have you been out there yet?
No, not really.
You been anywhere?
No.
Nah. 08704 20 20 20 is the number. Don't forget, the days of this world have the same amount of votes that you do, and the days of this world occasionally do get to Torremolinos, where they represent us, so the rest of Europe can see what we are. I was wondering what the rest of Europe, might be thinking of us at the moment when they see police cars being torched across Yorkshire and across the province at the moment. It's not going on, I was saying to my sons, it's not happening in Norway or in Italy or in Spain or in Germany or in France or in Holland or in anywhere, frankly. Certainly not in Croatia at the moment. It's here. where people don't seem to like each other and are throwing Molotov cocktails and bricks at each other, and the people who are trying to stop them throwing bricks at each other, I don't know. If there's anybody at the moment who deserves to be called these people, I tell you, at the moment, it's some Brits. Good Dave. 08704 20 20 20.
God, it was so strange.
Well, there you are. Well, have a go.
Yeah, I will do it. I'll ring and let you know.
Please do that. Please do that, because I regressed my wife once. Hypnotherapy is something that I've studied and practiced and qualified by practice to perform, but I can't do it on the radio because it's one of a few things which remain illegal in this country. The sooner they decriminalise hypnotism on the radio, the better. And then I'll really be able to fly with both wings. But for the time being, all I can do is refer Jim to a qualified practitioner in his area. 08704 20 20 20 is the telephone number.
Finish off my point before you start.
We'll either have a conversation or not at all. Are we having a conversation?
Yes, but you haven't let me finish putting my point across.
You've made one point. If you're making a separate point, I want to relate to the first point before you make your second point. Is that fair? That's a conversation, you see.
Okay.
Good. Now, do you believe that the celebrations, if Tim Henman had won, would have been anywhere near the celebrations that they had in Croatia? Do you think 150,000 people would have gathered in the street and there would have been street parties that lasted for 48 hours? Do you really believe that?
No, I don't.
Right. Your next point, then.
Right. My next point is...
And do you understand the point that I've just made?
Yes, I have.
And what is that point, then, that I have just made so well?
Well, you seem to put your point across that,
It meant more to the Croatians than it did the British.
Yeah, that's because we haven't had a champion for such a long time. If we did have if we did excel, not just tennis, if we was to excel in more sports and win more tournaments...
Chris, do you understand that it meant more to the Croatians than it would have done to the British, even though we...
Well, so what's that got to do with it? I don't care if it meant more to the Croatians than it would have done to the British. I would like to, in cricket, in rugby, in football, in tennis... In darts, I would love to see England start winning some tournaments around the world.
In darts, fine, yes.
Anything, I'm saying anything. That's why we have to get behind our sports people and not rubbish them.
What's your second point?
My second point is, whenever there's a crisis around the world and Britain gets involved, when the government or the armed troops get involved, when all the dust is settled, and a sporting event takes place, and we just happen to play a country that our armed forces have been involved in, then obviously it's like a battle on a sports field. And that is the world over. That has been happening since the year dot. So when a Croatian is playing in an English tournament, forget he was playing an Australian, when they're playing in an English tournament, a lot of the euphoria isn't so much because a Croatian has won, it's because a Croatian has won an English tournament. And I know a lot of people out there will agree with me. I bet you any money you like, if you was to have gone to Croatia that evening and spoke to, not all of them, but quite a lot of people that was in that crowd and say to them, why are you so jubilant that Isan Ivovic has won Wimbledon? And they will probably have turned around and said to you, not because he's Croatian, but because he won an English tournament. That is why English people want to get behind English sports people. And I wish other people would phone up and try and get that point across to you personally, because you don't give people a chance to go on. I can shout
a load of old rubbish in all my life. And all my life, I have never heard such a load of self-centred cobblers in all my life. In all my life. The idea that the people of Croatia, 150,000 of them, are out on the streets because their man has somehow done it over the English and won an English tournament suggests that here we have, in a call box somewhere in London, a little Englander who really believes that England is the centre of everybody else's world.
I'm proud of it. I'm one of them people that phone up and say, yes, I want to see us excel in football tournaments around the world. I want to see a great white or black British boxing hope. I want to see a great tennis player Why the bloody hell not? Why shouldn't I be like that?
I'll tell you why not. I'll tell you why
We're
not,
all patriotic under the skin, apart from Tommy Boyds.
Yeah, and there's loads of us like me, mate.
No, there's not loads like you.
All right, well, have a listen to Dee in Warwickshire, then, if you've got the balls, Chris, and I bet you haven't. I bet you'll fiddle off in a minute.
I'm standing here, for Christ's sake.
You are standing here, for Christ's sake, aren't you? Go on then, Dee, you tell him. I'm not going to.
I am so pleased that Goran won the tennis at Wimbledon.
Of course you are, because you're a Tommy Boyd fan.
No. You're a silly man.
You've never met me, my dear. You don't know if I'm a silly man or not.
Silly man.
You listen very carefully to what I've just said.
You are a silly man, Chris. You're a silly man.
Come on, Tommy, put your 2 pence worth in.
Shut up and listen to her.
Listen to you, and everything you've said makes me ashamed to be British.
Oh.
Yeah, there you are. I agree with you,
Oh, no.
Totally ashamed to be
How
British.
can you say that somebody that's patriotic, that wants to see his country excel in all manner of sports, is...
You don't understand the meaning of the word sport.
Oh, my dear. You probably haven't had a good shag in years, darling.
Yeah, I see, Chris, that's your standard,
Exactly,
isn't it, mate?
because that's what you expect, so that's what you get.
Well, are you going to have a
The great Tommy Boyd. Tommy, listen, Tommy. You know, you are so antagonistic. If somebody doesn't know the dictionary back to front,
Chris,
you cross-check every word they say. Not everybody is intellectually talented like yourself, Tommy.
Well, would you mind letting Dee have a say, and would you mind demonstrating how good you are at listening? Because obviously you don't listen very carefully to me. So let's hear whether you can actually.
Because Tommy, you always try to hoodwink people round to your way of thinking, and I will not have it.
No. Will you like to listen to Dee and hear her point of view, and then see whether you can keep it shut until she's made her point of view?
Right, Dee, come on, get your point across, like I've been trying to get mine.
Goran played an excellent game of tennis.
Yes?
Tim Henman didn't. The best man won the match.
And I agree with you.
Right.
I didn't say that he didn't deserve to win Wimbledon.
And there's just
that was one of the greatest games of tennis. That's one of the greatest...
If you don't, Chris, there's just one thing I want to say to you, all right?
Yeah.
When you told Dee about having a shag...
That was repulsive. Repulsive.
And
repugnant.
And disgusting. And yet, Chris, it's not as disgusting as your type of nationalism.
No. I agree.
Isn't
I agree
that appalling?
totally.
Dee, can I apologise for those offensive remarks that were made by that caller?
Thank you. I feel ashamed to be British tonight.
Well, what, because of him? Well, we know that there are people like him.
Because there are people that cannot actually appreciate a game of tennis, the skill involved.
Yeah.
They have to bring in the fact that they're British, and they have to actually degrade themselves by coming out with statements about shagging.
I know, it's grotesque. I'll tell you what you find, Dee, that the kind of person who is able to pick a tennis player based on the humanity that they show and the kind of person that they appear to be, rather than just simply support the person who happens to come from the same country as them because it somehow makes them feel better, are genuinely not only more intelligent and more spiritual, such as yourself, than those who simply want to back the Brit, whoever they might be, repugnant or otherwise.
Don't forget to subscribe and like. Comment too if you wish. Even slap your legs and make a purchase from Ann Summers. But don't do nothing.